Hey guys, welcome back. So Djokovic had his U.S. Open press conference yesterday, the pre-event press conference that a lot of the top players have before this event. He had some valuable insight that I think would be really cool to listen to. He talked about kind of his preparation, how he feels about the 2-week Masters events, how he feels about how the top players kind of handle certain things, and just a bunch of other stuff, his preparation, blah, blah, blah. But it's a couple-minute long answer, so I'll just play the video and kind of give my thoughts on some of the things he says.
You haven't played much at all. Since Wimbledon, you had spoken, I think at Wimbledon, about sort of that balance of getting to the late stages in tournaments and having no gas in the tank. And I guess you have to balance the rest against coming in without too much preparation. I was wondering if you could speak about your preparation ahead of this, and also, how it feels to come in. Cold is probably the wrong word, but
cold in terms of the matches, official matches. Obviously, I didn't have any matches since Wimbledon, so it is the right term in a sense. But I've put in a lot of training in the last 3-4 weeks, and I decided not to play because I wanted to spend more time with my family. And to be honest, I think I earned my right and have the luxury of kind of pick and choosing where I want to go and what I want to play. And to be quite frank with you, I don't enjoy the 2-week Masters events anymore. It's just way too long for me. My focus is mostly on the slams, and I've said that before, but I also like other tournaments. I'd like to play more of the other tournaments, but I just, we have currently informally or unofficially 12 Grand Slams a year,
It's crazy that so many fans and so many players outwardly dislike the new schedule and the 2-week events, and I think he touches on this later in this answer, or maybe later in the press conference, but he's just it's never going to change back. It doesn't matter. It's just everyone can hate it, and there won't be a change, and it's just how it is.
When you think about it, Grand Slam is 2 weeks, and the other Masters events are almost 2 weeks as well. So, so it's just, I'm not anymore prioritizing the heavy schedule as I used to. I'm not, chasing the rankings or building up my points or defending or etc. I just don't think about it anymore. For me, it's really about where do I find motivation and joy? Where will I be inspired to play the best tennis, and where do I care to be really and play? And slams are obviously the 4 main tournaments where I always feel the most motivation, and then the other tournaments here and there where I don't actually have any schedule other than slams, to be honest. I kind of feel in a moment what I want to do, and how I want to balance things out with the other priorities in life, and family being, of course, the main one, and being there for the important dates. Speaking of which, I'm going to miss out, maybe going to miss out on my...
Hi, I'm Mark Elias, a lawyer for the Democrats, and I need your help to join me in standing up. Daughter's birthday is 2nd of September, so if I'm doing well, I'm still here. But those are types of things that I really don't.
It's funny how he automatically assumed he'd make it to the second week, which is probably accurate, but in his head it's so of course he'll be here by then.
Want to be missing anymore, so it's just on a personal level for me important to be there, to show up, for the people that have been showing up for me for all these years playing tennis.
We have 2 more in English. Ben.
Follow up on that, Novak. It seems like a lot of the guys in ATP, especially in a good number of the women as well, have been pretty against the 2-week Masters, but it also seems like they're entrenched in those sort of complaints from the players, and also lots of fans think they just try to go along too slowly. Do you think there should be talks about switching back, about getting them back to 1 week, and or is this just set in stone and something
I don't see how
fighting anymore?
I don't see how that's going to happen, to be honest. The contracts are quite solid, as I understand, 30-year contracts.
I don't know, unless all the Masters events come together and the ATP board on the tournament side is supportive of the idea of going back, which I really doubt. I don't know. I don't know what the sentiment is from the tournament sides, to be honest, but I've noticed that a lot of players, top players, have been quite opposing the new change of the almost 2-week events, the Masters level. Yeah, I mean, I support the players, but in the end of the day, when the players needed to be active and when there was time of negotiations and decision-making, players weren't participating enough. And this is an ongoing...
It's crazy. He's taking shots, man. He's definitely taking some big swings at these top players for not doing a little bit more.
Going story, of the players, particularly top players. They just, they express their feelings, but then when you really need to put in the time and the energy into conversations, meetings, which I know it's very difficult. I mean, I've been there, trust me, many times. But it's necessary because then, you're doing something not only for yourself but future generations, and then you're making the right moves, right steps, and contributing. And I don't know. Let's see what happens. I just doubt anything will change in a foreseeable future when it comes to these contracts that are quite solid and bring a lot of revenue to the tournaments.
I mean, that was unbelievable stuff from him for those few questions and those few answers. I just thought any tennis fan could learn a lot from all the stuff he just said there. Just crack into the mind of the greatest tennis player to ever live for a few minutes. But yeah, I just wanted to share that clip from the press conference. Thought it was really good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Let me know if you want me to do more of this type of content.